racers always paid the highest purse in contemporary Formula One. So, when they found they had lost the French Grand Prix for 1957 to their Norman rivals at Rouen, they went ahead regardless and offered top money for a non-championship midsummer race of their own. This would be a great race and a fairy tale performance for a new driver named Stuart Lewis Evans in the amazing teardrop-bodied Van Wall. And the race, like the region of France, is vintage stuff.
Great day at last. Brilliant sunshine and a warm breeze appear to be the order of the day. Now the cars are being pushed out onto the starting grid. Van Walls, resplendent in their British racing green, are manoeuvred into their positions comfortingly near the front of the red machines from Italy. The drivers have a chat before the start of the race. Mike Hawthorne jokes with Luigi Musso and Peter Collins. Banjo explains some technical point to his devoted mechanics. But what right, one may ask, has Lewis Evans to occupy the front row of the grid between Fangio and Berra? The answer being that Lewis Evans has learnt his motoring the hard way on 500cc cars. Surely no finer training ground for Grand Prix racing is available. And what a fine choice for the Van Wall team is Roy Salvadori, here coming forward to chat to Jean Birra. Salvadori, a fine and fearless driver who never seems to have had the chance to prove he is a top-line pilot. And now it's time to start the engines. Electric starters being the regulation way of starting things at Reims. Push starting is forbidden. So to the start of a typical continental motor race. Panic-stricken mechanics and officials vainly trying to dispatch cars on time. But who, other than the director of the course, would dare to stand in the middle of the track when the starting flag is raised? Victims of the chaotic start are Jack Brabham, who's come without his crash helmet, Bonnier and Menditegai, who have stalled, and have also apparently forgotten various important items of driving apparel. The mechanics return to the pits, confident that their services will not be required further. And it's a Van Wall in first place. Lewis Evans leads Musso, Fangio, Collins, Hawthorne and the rest. Down to Muisson hairpin, it's the same order. The car's already stringing out, braking and changing down for the corner, preparing to accelerate along the straight. Approaching Tilwa, the order is the same. Musso is trying all he knows to try and close the gap between his Ferrari and the leading Van Wall. Hawthorne is third, Banjo and Collins are close behind, followed by the rest of the field. Menditegai is still in trouble with the Maserati and takes the long way round Tilwa, having overshot on the braking. Messrs Van der Velde and Cooper watch excitedly as Lewis Evans goes through in the lead, followed by Musso's Ferrari. Further back, Fangio and Hawthorne nose to tail. The Van Wall leads the race at an average speed of nearly 120 miles per hour. No wonder that Musso is unable to close the gap. Fangio and Hawthorne are still shadowing the leaders, but are reluctant to overstress their engines at this stage to try and catch the flying Van Wall. And now on the third lap, Collins' Ferrari begins to emit blue smoke. After a rapid pit stop, he accelerates back into the race once more. Berra is making up for his handicap of dodging the director of the course at the start and is going well. Gregory and Jean de Bien are involved in a tremendous duel carried on right round the course. First one leading and then the other.
Back now to the Reims Grand Prix of 1957, right here on Legends of Motorsport.
Gregory has the advantage on this corner and pulls away from the Ferrari. At Tilwa they are neck and neck once more. Gregory, against the rules and regulations, overtakes the Ferrari on the inside. But round the back of the circuit, the brute is on the other pedal. This time it's Jean Lebien who is on the right glide, closing on Gregory all the way round the corner. Only to overdo things at Tilwa hairpin and have to take the escape route, rejoining the circuit when he's attained a safer speed. Back in the hunt again, he flashes past Ivor Boab's Maserati, determined to catch that white car once more. Fangio and Hawthorne are giving a repeat performance of their epic duel of 1953. The van wall of Lewis Evans, still increasing its lead, is about to overtake Luigi Piotti's Maserati, but rather surprisingly loses ground on this particular corner. Musso grimly hangs on to second place, driving magnificently. Salvadori is keeping the second van wall within striking distance, no doubt driving to orders. Lewis Evans goes on his winning way, driving like a master. Musso makes the rear tyres smoke as he strains every nerve to try and close the gap. Fangio and Hawthorne are still scrapping furiously, neither one giving nor asking any quarter. Jean Bérat is their shadow, no doubt wondering which one will blow up first. Salvadori is keeping the second van wall going steadily in 7th place, cornering as fast as the leaders, but losing to them on the straights. Sweeping down to Tilwa, Lewis Evans has cause to bless the disc brakes on the van wall. He can gain much useful ground from his rivals by the simple expedient of being able to stop more quickly. Collins is still in trouble. Another pit stop to change plugs, doing little to improve suspected piston trouble. 7 hectic laps, and he is out. Fangio and Hawthorne flash past the pits at tremendous speed, still hotly disputing 3rd place. Hawthorne manages to gain on Fangio on the straights, but the brilliance of the world champion cancels out the advantage of more speed. A fair portion of road lies between the leader and the Ferrari in 2nd place. And now, Hawthorne, for the time being, has temporarily shaken off Fangio, having pressed the Maestro to such good effect that he has spun at Muisson and lost 8 seconds restarting. But Fangio, like the master driver he is, piles on the speed, cuts down his deficit, and gradually begins to overhaul Hawthorne once more. Musso's speed is surprising, in view of the fact that his car is one of the 1956 models with the original Lancia Ferrari suspension layout. Of the private entrance, number 16, a Maserati driven by Francisco Godia, is showing a magnificent turn of speed. And still the van wall leads the cream of the Italian racing machinery, the car being handled superbly by young Lewis Evans.
Welcome back. We are enjoying the bullet-fast Reims Grand Prix of 1957. Now, even though it's not a World Championship points-paying event, the high purse has attracted the cream of Grand Prix teams. And what a race it is. Amazing everyone is Englishman Stuart Lewis-Evans in his first race for a top Grand Prix team, and he's making the most of it, running away from no less than Juan Fangio, Mike Hawthorn, Peter Collins and Luigi Musso on one of the fastest of all European road race circuits. Let's rejoin them there now as the Reims Grand Prix of 1957 continues right here on Legends of Motorsport.
But now, after such a promising drive for a private entrance, the Maserati of Godia begins to throw out clouds of smoke. The smoke thickens as the car travels on its last lap. It would appear that a piston has collapsed. The car rounds Tilloy and provides a fine spectacle for the veritable army of photographers gathered there. Lewis-Evans once again laps Brabham's Cooper, a gallant entry in this battle of the giants. Fangio has made up his 8 seconds deficit and is locked in combat with Hawthorn once more. The convincing lead of the van wall is a source of much encouragement to the many British spectators. The ever-steady Berra laps Menditega. Gregory spins the Maserati at Tilloy and patiently waits until the other cars have passed before restarting. Too violent use of the accelerator causes the car to slew sideways across the road. Jean de Bien's Ferrari performs a similar maneuver. Like Gregory, he manages to keep the engine running, but leaves behind a vast amount of rubber on the track. Unfortunately, he stalls the engine. The van wall has pulled out an 18 seconds lead and speeds on its way. That Fangio is not in the lead is proof that this is not his kind of circuit. Alford is another driver who finds Tilloy a little tricky and has to take to the escape road, as does the Argentinian Menditega. The latter driver is not living up to his reputation and is most unhappy with European motor racing.
Let's return now to the high action-packed race at the Reims Grand Prix of 1957, right here on Legends of Motorsport.
Proud possessor of 5th place is Harry Schell, driving the third works Maserati in his usual style. One wonders what the result would be if there was a brick wall or a row of trees on the outside of Tilloy. Perhaps some tidier driving or some bent motor cars. Number 36 Maserati, driven by Bonnier, has retired. Jean de Bien is in at the pits and comes to swap race stories with Peter Collins. Another blow to Ferrari hopes is the arrival of Hawthorn with an overheated engine. This ends once and for all his battle with Fangio. The inevitable plug change, a tricky piece of work involving 2 mechanics, fails to serve any useful purpose. The car is retired and pushed away. The wily Berra, realizing that Hawthorn is out, has made up ground on Fangio. The unfortunate Menditega also brings his car in to retire. A trail of smoke from the leading van wall is ominous. Lewis-Evans, with pedals and steering wheel slippery with oil, has no choice but to ease the pace slightly, and Musso quickly seizes his chance. Lap 34. To the joy of the Ferrari pit staff, Musso comes through in the lead. The slackening of the van wall speed causes the Fangio Berra twosome to draw nearer. Bruce Halford calls at his pit for more oil. He patiently waits while his mechanic checks the engines for leakages. All the appears to be well, so he's pushed off to continue the race. Brabham calls for a speedy refuel. John Cooper, with brilliant shirt and much dash, inserts first of all the funnel and then the battery lead. The starter motor, being mounted on the engine, requires this outside source of power before the engine can be started. And in next to no time, the job is finished, and the car is back in the race. All credit is due to the new leader of the race. Musso is now the sole survivor of the Ferrari team. The giant scoreboard reveals to the spectators that Musso leads Lewis Evans. Soon it's out of date. Vera and Fangio have also caught the van wall, relegating it to 4th place. Vera, no doubt suffering from weakening brakes, overshoots Tilwa, sliding the tail on the way out in his usual neat way. A rare occurrence in Grand Prix racing is for Fangio to be lapped. Musso is about to do just that. Salvadori, lying just behind the 5th car, is still pressing on in the 2nd van wall. The fuel stop has delayed him somewhat. Surely the long-tailed Monza Maserati of Fangio is the handsomest racing car since the 1939 Silver Arrow Mercedes. Vera's performance with the older, heavier Maserati is nothing short of brilliant. Leading Fangio is getting to be a habit of his. We saw Hairpin as a typical Grand Prix obstacle course. Rounding the fast left-hand corner in the foreground, the brakes have to be vigorously applied. The correct gear must be selected to help slow the car before the corner itself is taken. Excessive speed here is useless and a waste of time. Then it's foot hard down and up through the gears once more, and flat out along the main straight. Fangio takes a turn at leading Berra. Musso laps Piotti's Maserati and with a tremendous burst of speed flashes past. Fangio does the same thing as he laps Horace Grau's Maserati. Lewis Evans overshoots Tilwa in a big way, in serious trouble with the braking department. He rapidly turns round and returns to the official part of the circuit without losing his place. As the end of the race draws near, Musso is the undisputed leader. Vera is a safe second, for Fangio has dropped out with brake trouble. Lewis Evans, a gallant third. Maston Gregory awaits the finish before pushing his crippled Maserati over the line. The checkered flag sweeps down and Luigi Musso has won the Grand Prix of Reims. Vera comes home to take a very deserving 2nd place. Lewis Evans has driven magnificently to finish 3rd. As the rest of the cars are flagged in, Fangio obtains a lift to the pits on the pillion of a marshal's scooter. On his triumphant lap of honour, Musso rounds Tilwa for the last time. He joyfully acknowledges the applause of the spectators. As he returns to the pits, he overtakes a truly vintage example of French motoring. For Ferrari, this is a great day. For Luigi Musso, a well-earned victory.
For the British Van Wall team, this classic race at Reims marked the beginning of their breakthrough to greatness. Within that summer month of July, Sterling Moss and Tony Brooks, both of whom had to sit this race out, would share the London team's first ever Grand Prix victory on their home soil in the British Grand Prix. Stuart Lewis Evans' brilliant Reims debut for the team won him a regular third-car drive. In 1958, the British team went from strength to strength, won 6 Grand Prix and beat Ferrari to the first ever Formula One Constructors title. But in the final race of 1958, Stuart Lewis Evans' engine blew up, locked his Van Wall's rear wheels and spun the car into trackside rocks. His fuel tank exploded and poor Lewis Evans suffered fatal burns. Tony van der Velde, who thought the world of this personable young driver, withdrew Van Wall from competition soon after.